back to the Words from Mouth Survival Podcast. This week, our guide is on bears. Did you know there's a simple mnemonic to remember how to deal with bears? If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. Pete, what do you think on bear survival?
I wasn't expecting to be questioned on this. This survival advice that you gave based on the colour of the bear, none of it seems to be useful.
If it's a black bear, you should fight back because black bears tend to be smaller and aggression will scare them. They're more startled easily. Brown bears don't like to be challenged and they'll fight back to a challenge, but if you lay down they tend to not attack because they don't see humans as food, they just see it as a threat. But if you lay down, you're not a threat. And if it's a white bear, you're dead because it's a polar bear, they kill you.
And you're in the wrong place as well. Why are you somewhere where the polar bears are?
Put a jumper on and get out of the zoo.
I feel like we could change this a little bit actually. So if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, you're fucking lost.
Good night. It rhymes then still.
No, you're lost. Not you've lost the fight, you are just lost. You did not read the map correctly. What reason do you have for being there?
What if you were going to look for the North Pole?
Or
if you're in a zoo?
Okay. In a zoo, hopefully I won't have to fight a bear because they're contained.
I imagine you're the sort of person that would wander in the enclosure.
How do you know? Okay, I've been to exactly. I've been to exactly one zoo.
You just open a door, walk through, and go, bear.
It's not that easy, surely.
This is you.
I can't accidentally bend the laws of physics.
You would accidentally walk into like Fort Knox or something like that. A bank vault. A bank vault. What are you doing here? I don't know. I'm scared.
No one's ever broken in here in the history of mankind. How did you get in here? Please just call my mum.
I sneezed and this happened and there's money in my pockets and I'm sorry.
James, it's been like 2 weeks since we sat down to speak to each other.
It's been so fucking peaceful.
I know.
I've been learning bear facts.
You've been learning bear facts. You learned exactly one bear fact in that time.
Bears are also big.
Bears are big and hairy,
and
yes.
Fish.
And eat fish.
Some bears eat fish. They eat salmon.
That's okay. I was just checking that's what you said.
And polar bears are evil because they'll find like a baby seal den and smash the top of them in and eat the seals.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. Happy Wednesday, Pete.
They jump on top of them to crush the seals underneath so they can't escape.
None of this is nice.
Brutal are bears.
That's horrible. Why are you laughing about it, you sadist?
I'm not the bear.
No, you're not. You're just an observer who's saying
I've never observed a polar bear.
Well, no. Okay, fair enough.
In other news, do not follow our bear advice. If you see a bear, stop being where the bear is.
Don't be where the bear is, yeah.
Just stop.
And if a bear has made its way into your home, then I guess this information and this podcast is the last thing on your mind, so...
Stop listening to the podcast and deal with the bear. Someone's listening actually like, come on, they've got to tell me what to do. It's in my house. It's in the fridge.
It's in the fridge? Oh, right, like rooting through it, not like stuck in the fridge. If it's in the fridge, shut the door. It'll be very confused and just leave. If it's in the fridge, close the fridge door, put the fridge on the front yard, and then the scrap man will take it away. There you go.
That poor scrap man. Bam! Shuts it very quickly.
This happens every week. God damn it.
Fucking people putting bears. What's the weirdest thing you found in your fridge?
The weirdest thing I found. The weirdest thing is a box of cereal.
I found my phone in there once and the TV remote.
At the same time?
No, not at the same time.
No, I found a box of cereal in there and I found the milk in the cupboard where the cereal goes.
Was somebody very tired when they made breakfast?
It seems that way, yeah.
But no, I was on the phone at some point and I ran out of hands clearly, so I put the phone down in the fridge. I spent 10 minutes now looking because I was on the phone to somebody. Spent 10 minutes looking for the phone, picked it up, worked out where I was in the fridge, answered, picked it up. They were still there waiting for me.
Oh, that's cute.
I was like, did you not get bored? It was a very weird buzzing noise. Like, you were inside the fridge. He was like, no wonder it's cold.
It's a pretty cool place to leave them, though.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm not even sorry.
I hope you meet a polar bear.
I hope I meet a polar bear too. They sound swell.
I hope you're in a seal den when you find one.
Well, Dad just made the
Jumps
polar
in your
bear
head.
angry.
Exactly.
It wanted seal and founded me. It founded me.
There's still
England
plenty
is
of-
good.
There's still plenty of blubber on you. It's fine.
There's a lot of blubber on me.
You know, it might enjoy
I'm a
it more than
heckin'
you.
fat boy.
Ooh, this blubber tastes like iron brew.
Yeah. More recently, Fanta Fruit Twist, but yeah, mostly Iron Brew.
Iron brew, Fanta fruit twist, and Scotch pancakes.
Scotch pancakes and chicken madras. James, you're making me hungry. It's far too late for me to be hungry.
I didn't have pancakes at work this week for breakfast.
Oh, what did you have? Did you eat the lid that you normally serve your pancakes on?
No, I'm having pan au chocolat still served on a lid.
Pan au chocolat.
I don't know why I said that. I don't know. I can't put that in a sort of phony German accent then.
They're French.
Yes, I realised the irony.
Irony.
You know, my brother told me I didn't understand irony, but it was ironic because at the time he said it, we were stood at a bus stop.
What? What?
It doesn't matter. Moving on.
I don't get it.
That's the point.
Are you having a stroke?
No.
Do I need to call somebody?
No, it's okay. Everything's fine. The world is as it should be.
Is there a polar bear in your fridge? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Why would I need to put that in code? The polar bear can't speak English.
It might be able to.
If there's a polar bear in your fridge, stop making sense. What sort of code is this?
If there's a polar bear in your fridge, you need to mention irony in a bus, and I'll understand, and I'll do nothing because there's a polar bear in your fridge, and I'm coming nowhere fucking near it.
Good. Yeah, that's the best advice, actually. Just don't go near it.
Although, if we're ever in the woods and we come across a bear, I have a great survival technique.
You just need to outrun me
I'm just going to kick you in the leg,
so that I can't. Yeah, okay.
boot you square in the kneecap.
I've got a feeling that even if you kicked me in the leg, I could still outrun you.
I'll kick you in both legs.
I've got a feeling that even if I had no legs, I could still outrun you.
You'd run towards the bear anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's shit the bear up then and be like, shit, hang on, why are you running at me?
Only if it's a brown bear. No, black bear. Sorry, brown bears would see that as a sign
See,
of
now you're
aggression,
getting
fight
your
back.
advice confused. Okay, folks, this podcast has gone completely off the rails now.
This podcast bear safety is not acceptable.
No, I don't think we're taking the bear safety seriously enough, actually.
We need to do a risk assessment.
Yes, we need to reconvene next Wednesday for a risk assessment meeting before we can then have the meeting deciding what we do with the bear after we've reviewed the risk assessment. And after that, we'll have to have a safety circle meeting.
Are we going to get paid for any of this?
Yes, it's all fully paid and food will be provided.
Now, if I turn up at your house on Wednesday and you don't pay me and give me food, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well,
And if
prepare to
I
be
open the
disappointed,
fridge-
James.
If I open the fridge and the bear's in there, I'm going to shit myself on your floor.
That's nice.
That is a valid response, I think, though.
Shitting yourself. Yeah, of course it is. There's a fucking bear.
In a fridge.
Yeah, in a fridge.
I must say, maybe it's cold. It's a polar bear. It's probably quite warm, actually.
It's just chilling.
No.
Oh, I thought you left.
No, I almost did.
I was waiting
So
for-
nearly clicked
I was
on
waiting
leave
for that
Discord
weird
button.
rattle that your door makes when you leave your room.
Have a 9-minute podcast.
I'd have carried on myself. I can wing it. I can't really. Don't leave. Please don't. No. Stop. James, sit down. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Words From Our Mouths with just me.
So how
Well,
have you
you-
been?
I've
2
been-
weeks?
you know what?
I
I've been
beat you
very
to it. I
good.
beat you to it before you.
You beat me to it. That's okay. I'm answering. Don't worry. I acknowledge that you got there first. I've been all right. I spent a full week with the kids last week, which was exhausting.
That's why there wasn't a podcast last week. For those who haven't realised, is because Pete prioritised his family over the podcast for some reason.
I know it's a terrible affliction of mine, but it was exhausting as much as it was fun. Oh, actually, we took the kids to a play centre. I met my brother with his kids, We went to a play centre, and you know what they're like, the big soft play areas, ball pits.
I want it explained to me in high detail.
Do you want it explained in the same way I explained how to use a crossing?
Yes.
The other week, right? Okay, so you walk in through these doors, right? Okay, and you're greeted by staff members. Now, at the minute, well, I think it's just for weekends, really. You have to book a time slot to be there because it gets bloody busy. Lots of kids running around. Why am I doing this? Just because you said it?
The thing is, you've got to finish now, don't you?
No. What I do want to do is skip to the point I was going to make, is that a big soft play area designed to be as injury-proof as possible for kids to run around, throw themselves at the walls, bounce back, fall over, trip over, roll, whatever. And my brother, at the ripe old age of 33, managed to cause himself an injury in there. Although, to be fair, he was being stupid. So there's always a big slide at these places. The slide has like 5 lanes. And,
that's outside, yeah.
Yeah, it's big slide. Everybody slides down together. Big fun, super happy times. Anyway, we were playing a game of...
What sound effect was that?
It was wee. We were playing a game of tag with the kids, bit of fun, and then I was it and decided to chase my brother instead. Screw the kids, this will be way more fun with adults playing. So we race to the top and we start going down the slide, and Andy starts switching lanes to avoid me. He manages to crack his kneecap on the slide. So did what?
Did all other adults and partners around just go, serves you right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm surprised that we didn't get kicked off. This is a children's play area. You can't be doing this. You're allowed in there to supervise the kids. It's what?
It's probably normal.
I reckon it happens quite a lot.
The adults have more fun than the kids 90% of the time.
Yeah. Although we decided that next time we're going to find one that's got an adults play area as well, so the kids can play and then we can go and have a big old game of tag.
My friend
Why not? We're paying.
My friend realised that there is a massive issue with those sort of areas for kids.
Yes.
Especially when the kids are around the 4 or 5 age, so they start tottering, sprinting around sort of thing, but don't fully have full control yet.
Right.
And so, like you said, the walls are soft, any posts are soft, any... the flooring's all soft. The only thing that's not soft is the other children.
Yeah.
And he says they will run full sprint into each other thinking that it's going to be soft and then realise it's not soft.
Yeah, that is the only thing. But humans hurt a lot less than metal when you run into them.
They may do, but at the same time it's still going to hurt.
It's still going to hurt, yeah, but I'd rather run into a person than a big metal bar. And, you can make the actual area as safe as you want, but you can't protect from human stupidity. As soon as you make something idiot-proof, idiots get more idioty.
Idiocy.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word, or if there is a word.
That's the technical term we're going for.
That is the technical term. That's in the dictionary, actually.
Is it?
It's in my dictionary.
Your dictionary is false.
My dictionary is mine, and you calling it false is offensive, and I'm going to call the police because I'm being attacked right now.
I hope you're offended. That was my aim. That is my intention. That's why we started this podcast, to offend you.
To offend me. Okay, thank you. Mission accomplished, because you told me that my dictionary is false.
Yep. Does that mean I can finally leave?
Yes.
Well, it's a 50-minute podcast then. Thanks for listening to the...
This is Words from Our Mouths with just me again. I recently ran out of super glue. I don't know if that means anything to anybody.
You've been putting glue on your hand again to peel it off. Don't do that with super glue. It's bloody painful.
I did. No, super glue's fine. You let it dry and you peel it off.
Not the super glue we've got to work, because you peel it off and it takes like 4 layers of skin with it.
What kind?
Is fine to peel off.
Well, this super glue did it fine.
We got the super glue, maybe, I don't know. But
super glue. Well, you've been watching Matilda again, you?
What? I've never seen Matilda.
You've never seen Matilda? She glues his hat to his head with super glue.
I've seen bits of it, but I've never actually watched it all the way through.
What the hell? You have a go at me for the kind of films that I've watched.
It's weird me not seeing a film that you've seen.
Yeah, but Matilda, of all things.
Yeah, but we didn't watch shit like that growing up. We just watched Jurassic Park a lot.
I don't think I've ever seen Jurassic Park all the way through.
That annoys me.
Why? It's just dinosaurs.
It's my
Dinosaurs stomp
film.
around. Who gives a
My
fuck?
favourite films.
Why? Nothing happens, James. Dinosaurs stomp around and that's it. You can watch the first 10 minutes and that's the whole film.
There's no dinosaurs in the first 10 minutes.
You can watch the trailer. You can watch the trailer. You watch the trailer.
Jurassic Park. It's been my favourite film as long as we've known each other, Pete.
That's why I don't like you.
Watch it at least once a month. That's not an exaggeration.
Really?
I really like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, you do.
It might just be Jeff Goldblum.
Might just be. I can forgive that. If that's the reason, then yeah, I can get behind that.
And the Raptors are cool.
No.
But Jeff Goldblum.
What are you rustling now? What is that?
Nothing.
What is it, James?
Wine gums.
What? For God's sake.
I like wine gums. I'm
You
simple.
like wine gums? Do you eat them at least once a month?
Yeah, probably.
What have you been doing the last 2 weeks? Come on, we didn't do you.
Wine gums.
What, you've been doing wine gums the past 2 weeks?
No, I'm eating wine gums. I've done that over the last 2 weeks. I've been at work. I got a new car.
You got a new car?
Very rusty. Very rusty. It needs a new engine.
Oh, of course, you wouldn't get a car that you could actually drive right now, would you?
But I paid I drove it to work, slowly cooked the engine even further.
Good work.
But you'll never guess how much I paid for it.
£600.
No, less.
£200.
Less.
£10.
Less.
It was free.
Yes. You can't turn down a free car.
Of course you can if it doesn't work. It's not free though, is it? Because you're going to have to pay to put a new engine in it.
But then you can just take it to the scrapyard and get 50 quid for scrapping it. They said that was an option. They said just get rid of it. Okay. Fine. I have a car. This is what I'm going to do with it.
What's the catch here? What car is it?
Ford KA.
Oh, jeez.
An old one as well. 04 plate.
Oh, no.
It smells like dog inside. Very badly smells like dog inside. And it's rotten as a tea bag.
Rotten as a tea bag. You didn't think that one through, did you, before you said it? It's got right, okay.
There's as many holes as a tea bag. I've got to replace the sill, which is like the bit from the body which rolls into the floor on the side. The whole length from one side. I've got to wear the pats on the other side. And I've got 2 bits of welding to do at the front. And the A panel, which is the one, if you're sat in your driver's seat, it's the one you can see in the corner of your eye at the front of you. Except it's passenger side. That one has a hole in it as well, which I need to fix. Because all of them are MOT failures.
Yes, I imagine there would be MOT failures.
But I also want to learn to weld. And I can't practice welding on a customer's car because they'll moan when I melt it.
No, that's a good point, actually. This is a perfect opportunity to practice welding.
Exactly. And at the end of it, I'm going to practice welding. The parts that I needed... I'm replacing a body panel. One of the sills, I'm replacing the lot rather than just patching it. That was £19. And it needs 2 doors and an engine. When doing that, I'm going to clutch it and put a service it as well. The grand total of all of it is 250 quid.
And then are you going to sell it or are you going to keep it?
I haven't decided yet, but we'll put 12.7T on it. So at the end of the day, a car with 12.7T for 250 quid is not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad at all, actually.
These days, to be honest, a car with 12.7T you can sell for 500 quid. Just because it's got 12.
The used car market has shot up in price.
To be honest, even before that, a car with 12.7T was a minimum 300-400 quid, just because it has 12.7T.
Yeah.
Unless the engine is proper gone, there's very little that can't be fixed reasonably, or a cheap car like that you just chuck a new engine. So I'm getting a second-hand engine for 100 quid. When doing this, 250 quid includes a new clutch I'm going to put in it because I might as well when I've got the car to pieces.
How much is a second-hand engine?
100 quid, okay.
That's cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about right.
Is
It's
it?
a common engine.
Oh, I don't know.
Because it goes into cheap Fords, if the car's... It's very easy for the car to not be worth fixing if they're any more than that.
Yes.
If the engine was 400 quid, no one's going to bother doing it because at the end of the day, the maximum that car's worth is £500 in good condition.
Fair enough.
Probably in good condition, you're probably worth 700 quid, like in pristine, immaculate condition. So if the engine was 500, you'd never bother doing it, would you?
No, that's a good point.
But the engine has to be cheap, or else it's just not worth doing.
So who gave you this car?
My cousin's fiance's sister.
Cousin's fiance's sister's hamster's gerbil's next door neighbour's cat.
Jackie's mother's sister's boy.
Yes.
No, but yeah, she gave it to me. Well, actually, her parents gave it to me because they got her a new car, and she gave them this one.
And they said, "Ew, we don't want this shit. Here, James, you take it."
Ew, we don't want this shit. Spoke to Emma, and she's like, "Do you know anyone that wants it?" I said, "Oh, James was looking for a car," and it was, "Do you want a car?" I was just like, "How much is it? Free?" "Yeah, okay. Then what is it? KA?" "Oh God."
But free is free, like you say.
Yeah. But yeah, so Saturday we're going to strip all the interior out. Take the
Saturday
doors
you're
off.
going stripping, understood.
We're going to strip all the interior out, take the doors off, put the new doors on. Well, because the door handles don't work. She had a falling out with her partner and he dented every panel and ripped all like the door handles and stuff off. And
Who
so
does
it's
that
like,
sort of thing? What
I
kind
don't
of
know.
psycho?
He is a weird... he's still alive, but he's just not doing it anymore.
He was a
Although,
weirdo
actually,
until we
honest,
took care of him.
If she had her way, the plan that she wanted, there wouldn't be anything left of him. But we'll leave that for another day.
We'll leave that for the police to sort out, I think.
Yeah, I can't speak on ongoing investigations.
Yeah.
But yeah, so both door handles are ruined, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake, I have to buy new door locks. And new door locks were like 38 quid. I can get new doors for 25 quid. Or second hand again, but they're both.
Well, couldn't you get loads of stuff? Yeah, I was going to say, like, most of your stuff you can get from a scrappy, right? Cause
yeah, all the engine's coming from scrappy as well.
because the car will be written off so often because, like you say, repairs are often more than the value of the car.
They're known for rotting out. They're known for being rusty. That is what kills KAs, especially the old ones.
Okay.
The new ones aren't so bad, but old KAs are known for rotting. That's why you don't see them on the road anymore, considering they were a really common car 10, 20 years ago.
The cars from that sort of era are not on the road for as long as, like you see older cars and that. But that sort of generation of cars doesn't have much longevity, really, does it? Because you don't see a lot of them.
That was the sort of time when they were coming out there, especially small cars. They were making small cars cheap. You could buy like that KA new was probably like £8,000, if that. That'd be in today. No, it'd be £8,000 nowadays. Probably back in 20 years ago, it was probably like £5,000 new.
Yeah,
which when you think about it, is fuck all, is it?
It's pretty cheap for a car.
So, but because they were so cheap, they were made cheaply. They're really thin metal, really thin paint, so it rusts really quickly.
Yeah,
they all do. Peugeots and your French cars and stuff don't rust, but the engines are made really cheaply, so the engines fall apart and the suspension falls apart. So it ends up they get scrapped, and the only things you've got left from that era are BMWs, and most of them got drifted.
Yeah,
and then you've got your Japanese cars like me. You find the most common car you see from that era, or like the early 2000s, still on the road, will be Japanese, because they make cars well.
Like Suzuki's.
Yeah. Suzuki are the cheapest of Japanese cars, but
yes, they are. That's why I got one. I like cheap.
It's not always a good thing. As we just discussed, the KA was cheap, but it didn't last 10 years. Well, most of them didn't.
Mine only has to last until September now.
Well, then you paid it off.
Yeah.
Or have you leased it?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't know what the agreement is.
It's
It's not mine. I say I got it. I didn't get it at all. I was there when it was purchased.
When that time ends, do you have to give it back, or do you get to keep the car?
I think there's a choice.
Yeah, so it's a lease. You rented that car.
I didn't rent anything.
Charlotte.
I pay insurance. Yeah, I pay insurance on it, and I drive it. But other than that, it's not really anything to do with me. I don't think. Have I ever owned a car?
I don't know.
Well, technically I did. I suppose I got my nan's car when she died.
I'm on 14 now.
I didn't kill her for the car.
What was it?
Chevy Matiz,
You definitely didn't kill her for the car. You were trying to keep her going so you didn't get the car.
No.
Just leave, please, I don't want what it is.
When my mum and her sister were trying to separate, to deal with all the stuff, they obviously had the car to deal with as well. And I'd had a license for 10 years at this point and never had a car, never driven since it passed. And my mum said, do you want the car before we sell it? And I thought, well, yeah, sure. Have I told you this story before?
I don't think so. I remember you getting something off your nan, but I don't remember.
Yeah, they said, well, you sure you can take the car? Just sign it over to you and it's yours, blah, 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 blah. You fill in the form, whatever it's called.
A V5.
Yes, that. And I walked round to pick it up, and I sat in the car and I thought, hang on a second, I've forgotten how to drive. So I tried to I backed it out of the driveway and got onto the road. And after about 20 meters, I was like, no, you know what? I do not feel safe enough to drive this.
Think about this. I remember you getting the car, actually. We've been friends that long, my friend.
Yeah.
Because I remember you coming home and saying to me, how do I drive? I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's just like, 2017 or something?
How do I relearn how to drive? Is what you said, I believe.
I did eventually relearn how to drive, obviously, but I had to go out with somebody and just have it re-explained to me. It came back really quickly. It's like 20 minutes later, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember it all now.
That's why you're a menace on the roads.
I'm not a menace. I'm a proper old lady driver, me. I'm always 2 miles an hour under the speed limit and pissing everybody off. I don't.
I always drive like that as well.
No, you don't. You're a boy racer.
No, I don't race. But did
You're
you
a boy
know
faster?
Street racing is a victimless crime?
No, it's not.
Who are the victims?
The people who get crashed into.
No, that's street crashing. I'm very against street crashing.
So street crashing is street racing done wrong.
Yes.
So the moral of the story is don't do street racing unless you're good at driving.
Yes, and I am a driving god, therefore it's fine.
You're a driving god.
No, I don't do street racing either. I can't afford the fuel for one.
Well, yeah. Oh God, it's so expensive. When I drove my son home,
Just before we
I nearly cried.
Would you like to know one other very important race car fact?
Is it stripes make you go faster?
No. Race car backwards is still race car. It's a
race car backwards is still race car. That's right, it is a palindrome.
But race car upside down is expensive.
I hate you.
Anyway, driving son home.
Yeah, I just cried when I had to put petrol in afterwards.
I wouldn't put petrol in. It was diesel, wasn't it?
No.
You bought a petrol for Tara?
Yeah.
Why?
Why would I buy a diesel one?
Because it's a fairly big car. That's why you drive like a granny. It's as quick as
it can
go,
okay, mine isn't a big. It's a big car with a little engine in it. Mine's a Swift on disguised as a Vitara.
It's extremely slow. That's why you can only drive like a granny.
It's not slow at all.
It is.
It's really not.
It just is. It just is.
It's just not slow though. It's fine.
Them, they are.
They're not slow at all.
They're not quick.
How quick does it need to be, James?
Quicker than that.
Quicker than it can go 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, but see, this is all. No, people go, oh, your top speed is this. It doesn't matter. Top speed is acceleration is what matters on British roads.
But is it also like that? Doesn't fucking matter either. Like most cars get to 30 miles an hour in a matter of seconds anyway. So what does it matter?
Yeah, but I could do it in less seconds.
But why? If you do it in less seconds, it costs you more in fuel, which you just said you can't afford. So stick that up your ass.
It's better miles per gallon.
Better. Okay. I'm going to kick you in the nuts the first time we meet just because of that.
Miles per gallon.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to kick you in the nuts for
14
that.
14 seconds to 60 your car, Pete.
14 seconds. So?
Mine's 7.
Yeah, but why do I need to go to 60? Why do I need to go to 60 that quick?
Because then you get home quicker.
Because okay, in a matter of that 7 seconds is not going to make a fucking difference.
But every single time you go to work, how many days a week do you work on average?
I work 5 days a week, but every road between here and work is 30 miles an hour.
Alright, so we'll say 3.5 seconds, not the 7 seconds a day you're saving then. 3.5 times 5 times 52 divided by 60. That's 15 minutes of a year you're wasting, Pete.
How?
Because it was 3.5 seconds just saved extra by that a little bit quicker the car's going.
Yeah, okay, right, you're talking about as if I was
15
trying my
minutes a year.
best to reach 30 miles an hour as quickly as possible every time I pull off.
Yes, you should be.
But I'm not doing that. No, it's not the correct way to drive. That is the expensive way to drive.
But you get better miles per gallon.
No, you see, I'll happily cruise down the motorway at 45 miles an hour if it's more fuel efficient.
On the motorway.
No, I will do it
At
on
that
the
point,
motorway.
that's dangerous. Actually, that's illegal.
No, I won't actually go 45, but you know what I mean. I will drive as fuel efficiently as possible.
Anything below 60 on a motorway, on a clear motorway, is dangerous.
Below 60 on a clear motorway is dangerous.
Yeah. So if you're
On a clear motorway, it's dangerous. If it's a clear motorway, James, I can fucking stop and it's not dangerous.
You know what I mean? General traffic. You're not stuck in traffic. It's not foggy. It's a nice clear day. Traffic's moving at a nice decent pace. There's cars around, but it's not trafficy.
Honestly, I just stick cruise control on at 70.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I used to do in the Leon. Actually, I used to do about 66 because I worked out that I used to do a 90-mile round trip commute, so you get very bored doing that, especially early in the morning. And
So you worked out optimum fuel efficiency.
66 miles an hour was the most efficient.
That's good. You know what? I should probably work out what's the most efficient for me as well. Actually, I like fuel efficiency. I like to see how far I can stretch my tank of fuel.
Do you know though? Do you ever set your dashboard so it shows your instantaneous MPG, so what you're doing at the second?
Yes, I have that. Yeah.
They've proven that if you put that on, you're more likely to drive inefficiently.
Yeah, I know. I've been told, and I've seen it proven to me, but I just can't switch it off.
The best way to drive is using music.
Using music.
When going on level ground or uphill, you should listen to calm, quiet music. When going downhill, you should listen to loud, aggressive music, sorry. Because naturally, loud, aggressive music, you accelerate a bit harder, which downhill you want to do because you can use the momentum of gravity to speed you up. But on the flat and uphill, you want to be more gentle and smooth with the throttle. And so that's more fuel efficient. So yeah, you should listen to music based on hills.
So what sort of road do I need to be on for listening to country music?
Like a dirt track with like pits and stuff.
The country road that takes me home, yeah?
To a place you belong.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one I will be at, yeah. I'm not carrying on.
We can't say anymore, we might get sued.
Oh, yeah, because we're totally on the radar of DMCA takedowns.
Apparently, if it's Sony, they do start hitting people with like 30 views.
Really? You know what? Maybe we should talk
we
should talk in depth about Nintendo games, and we'll get a visit from the Nintendo CEO himself.
Yeah, I mean they've got to watch it at least 3 or 4 times to prove that we have said something, so they can claim us. And I mean that's double our viewership, really, isn't it?
Exactly. So what happens in every Nintendo game that ever gets released from now until we all die is, you know what? Actually, no. Fuck Nintendo games. Right at work, we just bought a new telly for the staff room.
Nintendo?
This is what I'm going to get to now. We just bought a new telly for.
In your staff room at McDonald's.
There's a lot of people sit there eating their dinner on the break. Want to put something on the telly?
Phoned. It's 2022.
All right, okay, well, shut up. We just got a new telly put in the staff. People like it. All right, shut the fuck up. I mean, I sit on the dining area. I don't want people to talk to me when I'm on my break. But anyway, we've got a telly, and they bought a Nintendo Switch to put in there. Which pissed me off because I thought if you're going to put a console in there, make it a PlayStation or something. Because the problem I have with Nintendo is that everything they've ever done since the SNES has been stupid and fucking gimmicky. Everything's a gimmick, particularly from the Wii onwards. Just stop making things where I have to do proper weird, mad, uncomfortable shit to play a game. Because even the Switch, and I know it gets praised, and they're like, "Oh, but you can play Skyrim on the train." If I'm on the train, I don't want to play fucking Skyrim. I want to avoid the weird guy trying to lick my neck.
Pete, you are the weird guy trying to lick people's necks on the train.
Exactly, giving people a reason not to bring the Switches onto the train. No, but it's piss. It just first of all, the game library just appeals to weirdos. And I'm sorry to anybody who likes Nintendo, but you're a fucking weirdo. But I'm just sick of like the Switch is supposed to be a great console for what it is. It delivers, fairly recent titles to a reasonable standard. Blah blah blah. Portable. Fuck yourself. Shove it up your ass. But also, they've made it so that the controllers detach, right? So the what you would use as your controller when you've got your handheld device there, then each person gets half, so they can use it. But so what they've done there is they've made it
the correct term is Joy-Con.
Joy-Con. Oh yeah, well stick your Joy-Con up your left fucking nostril because it'll fit because they're tiny, and that's the problem. Is they've made it as
I've got my Joy-Cons in my hand. They're not going up my left nostril.
Okay, fine, but they made it as annoying as possible to hold and use and navigate.
I was trying to get my Switch to turn on to make the Nintendo noise during your rant, but it's flat.
Well, there you go. See, another problem. It's flat all the time.
I don't charge it. I forget to charge it. I probably not charge it.
Yeah, but I mean, that is your fault that it's flat and not Nintendo's fault. Yeah. But at the same time, my Xbox is sat here. It's always plugged in, and the controller's fine for my hands and stuff like that. And I don't have to...
See, the small controllers, what you do is if you want to play actual proper games on it, is you buy a Pro Controller.
Yeah, but then what the fuck am I buying extra stuff for? To just enjoy my games that I've already paid an extortionate price for? Because Nintendo games are fucking never on sale either.
Yeah, but they're nowhere near as expensive as like an Xbox.
Yes, they are. They're like 40 odd quid. I went...
Yeah, but a modern like a PS5 game's like 80 quid these days.
Yeah, and then on Nintendo you get it with like mandatory low graphic settings and less features because the storage and the devices are shit.
Yeah, but if you were to buy...
So they should be cheaper.
But if you were to buy... I bought Mario Party recently, which is what I use my Switch for. I use my Switch for a party games thing, which it's brilliant for.
I'm sure it is, but I don't have any friends, so that defeats the point for me.
Family as well. It's mostly family I play with, actually.
I don't have any family, defeats the point for me. I mean, I do, but... I'm not buying them.
If I listen to this podcast, you just rejected them. But no, for that sort of thing, I think the Switch is great.
I don't. I disagree. I don't think it delivers anything that you can't get out of another console that you can have a better package for.
The thing is other consoles don't do them. They don't have the party games like
Yes, they do. You just have to look for them. It's not designed specifically for party games.
As good.
Yeah, because that's the only selling point for the Switch is these party games that they have to do better. They have to do them better because they can't do regular games any good. Okay, so here's another thing that puts me off.
What's wrong with Nintendo focusing on the niche that they know sells for them? They have a niche and they work it. What's wrong with that? There's no point in them attempting to compete with PlayStation or Xbox because it's a saturated market as it is, to be honest. There's no point in having a third console. They tried that. They didn't win. They focused on the party consoles and they're killing it.
So?
And I still think the Switch is the best-selling console.
That doesn't mean it doesn't piss me the fuck off, James. That doesn't mean I don't hate them.
Yeah, but this is you getting annoyed at something that isn't designed to appeal to you.
That's like you getting annoyed at BMWs. They're not designed to appeal to you because you don't fucking like them.
Yeah, but I have to work on them. You don't have to.
No, you don't have to work on them, James. You choose to be a fucking car mechanic.
No, I didn't. I chose to be a plane mechanic. And it's a shit industry, and I ended up being a car mechanic because I needed a cheap MOT.
There you go. You could always get a shitty minimum wage job doing something else.
I could. Actually, I don't mind my job unless I have to work on a BMW. Did I ever tell you the story about how I got my job?
Nope.
I lost my job working on aircraft. I got made redundant.
Yes, I remember that.
And I was living in Wales. I came back to Plymouth after that point because I couldn't afford to live in Wales because I had no money. And my MOT was due. And it's just like, great. I don't really have any money for the MOT, but at the time I had a fairly reliable car. And it did okay on the MOT. It was only going to be like 150 quid, whatever it was. It needed a new light unit. No, I didn't really have 150 quid, so they said, don't worry, pay us back whenever. Because I get on with the garage quite well, obviously. I did at the time. I still do, believe it or not, because I work there now. But as it happens, the boss and one of the other guys were away that week. They had a week off. So there was only two guys there, and they were really busy. And I could see them running around like headless chickens trying to get all the crap done. I was like... And they had a car in that needed a service. I was like, look, do you want me to do the service on that? I've been working cars since I was little. They knew me. They knew I fixed planes. Planes and cars are very similar. Bolt to bolt at the end of the day. And so I ended up servicing that car for them while we were waiting for the bits for my Leon to turn up. Now the bits turned up for the Leon, we did most of it. Went to change the brake light at the back, and they sent the wrong one. Oh, for fuck's sake! So we phoned the suppliers like, oh, we can't get the correct one till tomorrow. I was like, and they were like, no worries, just come back in tomorrow. We'll fit it, get it retested. Jobs are good, and we'll knock like 30 quid off the bill or whatever because you helped us out today. Great, no worries. Come in the next day. Halfway through I turned up early because the light was supposed to turn up early. It didn't. Ended up helping out again because I was bored. Obviously, I'm not working at this point. I've been off work for like 6 weeks, so I was just bored out of my fucking mind. So I ended up helping out again for the day, and the light turned up, and it was still the wrong one. And this was on Saturday at this point.
So we've reached a point here where you just kept turning up every day, and they just forgot that you didn't work there.
Pretty much. Because then I came up in on the Monday, and the boss was back from his holiday, and they were chatting all that lot, and so I wasn't really touching the cars as much then because the boss was back and they don't need me. But then it got busy and I ended up helping out. I should state that like 2 years before, and I fitted all their computers for them. They paid me like 100 quid cash to set all their computers up to them because they have no idea how to do technology, and they knew I did. And this is when I was working shifts, so I had like 5 days off. So those 5 days I went and set some computers up, got 100 quid cash. Great. So with where they had a computer problem, and then they were moaning about something else. They ended up giving the boss a hand doing something, and ended up servicing another car while I was there. The light turned up, still the wrong one. Went in the next day, and the boss was like, "Do you want a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. When do I start?" He's like, "Well, you've been here for the last 3 days. I'll pay you for yesterday, and we'll crack on from there." And yeah, 3 years later, I'm still there.
That's nice, though. That's a nice story of getting a job, not like frantically throwing applications and CVs at people's faces.
But yeah, it does slightly annoy when people go, "Oh, there's no jobs," because
there are jobs. There are loads of jobs. In fact, there's proof of this.
If you're just throwing CVs out randomly, firing off 3 applications online a day, and getting nothing from it, that's not enough. I know it's different. You don't have to go plot like some other parents thinking all that lot. You've got to go bang on every door and put a CV through the door and all that lot. But everybody that we know has a mate who owns a business of some sort, or a couple of mates that own businesses of some sort. You could probably give them a hand and eventually end up doing a job.
Mm-hmm. But I was just going to say the proof that there are plenty of jobs out there is since like early December, and now Charlotte's been in and out of about 9 jobs, so there are definitely jobs there, and she's been in and out of her choice. She's trying to find the right job that she wants to do, and I can't help but massively respect it, because it's probably something I should have done instead of just, because I got my job when I was 17 and I thought this will do till I find something a bit more suitable, and I'm still doing it, whereas she is going, and she might have pissed a few people off, like, getting jobs, working a couple of shifts and leaving, but you know what, so what, it's her life, and she's perfectly entitled to do that.
I very much imagine you starting your first day at Mackey's and going, "This is all right. I'll do this till I die."
No, it's funny because if I'm being perfectly honest with how I feel about my job, I would still say it'll do till I get something else, despite the fact that I haven't actively looked for a job at all since 2008. So I just kept going. I've just got so comfortable. I keep going, they keep paying me, and it's fine.
You get paid enough to live comfortably and happily, so
what's exactly, I mean, any other job that I could get, because I don't have any qualifications, any other job that I could get, I would be sidestepping into a very similar role, a very similar pay, and I might as well just stick with what I already know.
Well, you like doing the mornings, don't you? You give the hours you like, so...
Exactly, yeah, I've been there long enough to have a little bit of, to get a little bit back off it, so... I get given, I mean, doing these hours is it helps them out a lot as well, because there's not many volunteers for getting up at 3:30 in the morning, but it means I'm home in the middle of the day, so I get time with the family afterwards and things like that, so it all works out really well, actually.
Speaking of your work, how did the meeting that you got volunteered to go? Brandon said that you were going to your event, like your team bonding event or whatever it was.
Oh, that's right. The quiz, the big
Quiz, was it?
Yeah, the big pub quiz. I didn't go, although I forgot. Of course, I didn't go. I forgot it was happening. So it was arranged for the Monday, which was for last week, which was my first Monday off for that week that I was supposed to be off. and I totally forgot about it. Just put it out of my head because I don't give a shit enough about those people to go. And some of them, I think a couple of them listen to this as well. So you know what? I don't like you. All right, Josh, Henry, if you're listening, don't fucking like you enough to spend time with you outside of work. All right.
I like you, Josh and Henry. Because right. Pete doesn't like you, so therefore I must like you. It's like a contract obligation at this point.
And now I'm going to have to tell them that they've had a shout out in the podcast as well. They're going to listen only to hear me tell them that I don't like them.
And then I want you to comment, both of you, what you dislike most about Pete below.
Well, that's fine. They can do that. I've got a lot of things to not like about me, so it'd be interesting to see which one they specifically pick out.
Voice, face, personality,
the smell that I leave behind. Yeah. So anyway, it was scheduled for that Monday, and I totally forgot about it. And the venue was fairly local, and everybody's plan was to meet at the local Weatherspoons and then move on to where the quiz was happening afterwards. And it just so happened that on Monday afternoon I said to Charlotte, should we take the kids for a Weatherspoons for tea? And off we go to Weatherspoons, and I walk in and there's an awful lot of people looking at us. And now at work we all wear uniforms and face masks, and I'm not very good at recognising people at the best of times. And Charlotte says, why are these people staring at you? And a few people have waved at you. And I was like, really? I didn't even see. And then the realization slowly dawns on me as I start staring around the restaurant that 90% of the people are people from work. And now, when the realization hits, people start waving and saying hi to me. We get like partway through the meal, and Charlotte's looking increasingly frustrated, and she's going like, I feel like you're famous and it's pissing me off. Can we please go? And I'm doing my best not to make eye contact with people as well, because I just don't want to have a conversation with them. I've brought my family out for tea. I can't be dealing with this right now. And then when I went back to work on the Monday just gone, people were saying like, I saw you in Spoons, but you didn't come to the quiz. What was that all about? I was like, I didn't come to meet you all. I was trying to take my family out for a meal.
Only you could accidentally go to a works do.
Only me could accidentally go. Yeah.
You accidentally went to your works do.
I mean, that part was like unofficial. People were just meeting there, but it was so awkward. It was a case of like, let's just eat and let's just go. No dessert. It was ice cream at home. Fuck off. Let's go.
There's ice cream at home.
Yeah, it was one of the most traumatizing things that's ever happened to me, is to be faced with the people that I don't want to see when I'm off for a week at work. Now, it's not unusual to run into a couple of people that I work with, because it's like a 2-minute walk from work is Weatherspoon, so people turn up after work and, you know, whatever. And I'm not against seeing people that I work with, you know what I mean? I'm not pathologically afraid of them, but when there's that many people saying hi to me when I'm just trying to have a quiet meal with my family, that's a bit disconcerting. It's one of the reasons that I desperately hope that we do not get famous and this podcast does not take off, because if I start getting at all recognised in public by strangers, I will freak out. And I'll become even more of a recluse than I already am.
Oh, I can't wait. If we ever get famous enough, guys, and you do go meet Pete in person, you need to record his freak out, and I will make a monthly section of the best.
It's okay.
Freak outs. I've
already decided, but I've set a limit. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I stop leaving the house. That's the point I feel.
Guys. No, we can make the world a better place and reduce the amount of odour escaping from Pete's house by locking him inside. Pete, if we have 5,000 subscribers, that's not enough for you to live on.
I don't want to live on it. I'll still go to work. I just won't go anywhere socially.
You won't leave the house, which means you have to go to work.
Okay, sorry. I won't leave the house outside of going to and from work.
But what if you need to go to the doctor?
I don't really go to the doctor. I just sort of think I'll just see how it goes.
In the 40 years it's going to take us to get 2,000 subscribers, you'll be like 106 at that point. You'll probably need to go to the doctor.
I'm the same age as you, near enough.
No, you're a year older than me.
So you'll be 105 if I'm 106.
I feel it about now already, so...
Oh, bless you. Have your knees give up?
I knelt down at work today, and there was a tremendous crack, and the boss was like, "What was that?" I was just like, "My knee." He was just like, "It was your knee." I was like, "Yeah." He's like,
Actually,
"Does it hurt?" Yeah. He's like, "You're gonna go like try and walk it off?" I can't stand up.
I have a few experiences like that. I went into the office. There's a little drawer that we keep just random screwdrivers and pliers in. I needed one. It's the bottom drawer underneath the desk, and I went down for it, and I couldn't get back up after going down.
The other week, we were putting a gearbox up, which this gearbox must have been like probably pushing like 80, 90 kilos. And there's two of us trying to lift it into place. So you've got to lift it above your head, but when it's up in there, you've also got to line it up. It's not just rest it on a shelf. You've actually got to get into the exact right position to slot onto the engine.
That sounds
and we were
arduous.
fighting this fucking thing. It would not go on. Eventually it did, obviously, but we must have been doing it for like 10, 15 minutes to the point where we're trying to rest it in the car slightly to drop one arm to get some blood back in your arm, sort of thing.
Very nice.
And it was afterwards we finally got it up, got it caught enough that we could have a break, went and have a cigarette. We both sat down on the bench outside the office, having a smoke. Both had to stand up, and both our backs were just like, nope. And it must have taken us. It took me about 5 minutes to get vertical again, and it took my colleague. Once I'd got up, I managed to help him get up. But it was one of those proper like twist onto your knees and then straighten your back against the wall and slide up the wall sort of thing, and then take that first step. And once you're moving, your backs. But obviously our backs were so tensed. To go from completely tense to completely relax, it was just froze up. It was just like nope. It was cold as well. It was just nope. It was just like nope.
That's how I used to get after putting the deliveries away at work. It's really hard work. You know what? Actually, the funny thing is, we get like 4 deliveries a week, and it's. I worked out the weight, the total combined weight of a delivery once. I think it worked out at like 100. It was like 9,000 pounds of weight or something that you have to shift in total. Like, you know, not obviously all at once ever, but. And
What's that in proper money?
In I don't know. You'd have to convert it. I don't know if that. Hang on, let's see.
That's 4 ton.
4 tons.
Yeah,
that's a lot actually, then, isn't it? It's probably about right. I think that's about
right. That's probably about two cars, 2 average cars, 2.5 cars.
Yeah, and it's you know it's physical labour. It's the most physically demanding job you'll ever have to do. In my line of work, is put the delivery away.
I suppose in your line of work, right? Specify that bit, yeah.
Yeah. I obviously I mean, giving birth is probably harder. You know, I've never done it, but I had a pretty big shit the other day, probably something like that. But actually, you know what? On the lines of of having a pretty big shit and giving birth, I have actually suffered from fecal compaction before. If you know what that is.
No.
It's when your shit just will not come out of your ass and you need help getting it out. when it compacts so hard that it will not move, it gets lodged. And
you need help.
Yeah, you need like.
Scoop.
Go on.
Does a guy get a scoop? Is what I said.
No, a scoop won't help you. No. Have you ever had an enema, James?
No.
No, I don't recommend it. I shat right. Okay. This is far more interesting than what I was actually talking about, and it's also disgusting. I don't. It's too late now.
This is an eating warning.
This is too late.
Warning.
Basically, right? Okay, so
discuss your monster shit.
Okay, so the build up to the story is rather mundane and boring. Do you remember when I was complaining about my toothache?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
this was only like 6 months ago.
It's nearly a year ago now. I think it was just over a year ago now. Yeah, it was coming up for a while ago now.
Too quick.
Yeah, exactly. So when my toothache got really bad, I was using this isn't correct, but I was using somebody's prescription cocodamol, so you know the heavy stuff, the 30 milligrams of codeine in it. I was using that to help me sleep through the night, and I was taking quite a lot of it. Now, what nobody tells you is things like Imodium for when you've got diarrhea. It's just a very, very, very small dose of opiate painkiller because it slows your digestive system right down. Nobody told me that. So what I was taking was the equivalent of like 10 Imodium every time I was popping the pain, and I was taking the painkillers regardless of what the minimum dose time was. Whenever it woke me up through the night, the pain, I would swallow them. And at some points I was probably taking like 10 or 12 in a 6-hour period, which is way too much. But it was getting me through. I was sleeping, and this was during COVID as well, like the initial lockdowns and stuff. Like, seeing a dentist was impossible. Even the emergency dentist, it was impossible. Anyway, the amount of painkillers and the effect it was having on my digestive system led to an enormous build-up of shit in my body. So, now, when I say an enormous build-up of shit, they did like an ultrasound when I went in to, when I finally got seen to, because I went to the walking centre, and they said that because I'd pooed like 2 days before, they said this doesn't really count as an emergency or proper constipation because you have pooed quite recently. It's like, are you joking? I'm in so much pain, I need to poo and nothing's coming out. And when I ended up going to A&E, which when I got seen to it, they did like an ultrasound on me, and apparently there was like a full third of my intestine blocked. So it was really, really quite high up. And so they shoved this horrible, what I can only describe as a fizzy fluid up my arse. and 2 minutes later, my body involuntarily starts pushing shit out, and it's fucking horrible, James. And for some reason, it was important for them to check the poo when it was coming out, so they were taking bits of poo away as it was coming out of me. And one of the nurses who was seeing to me decided to tell me, and a very nice gentleman he was, that one of the pieces that came out weighed nearly 1 kilogram. But I also, and now they only told me this at the end of the proceedings, because when I went to A&E at the point that it started coming out of me, because I'd worked during feeling like this as well. I hadn't slept for about 40 hours, something like that. So it all came out. I instantly felt better, and I just passed out. I just went unconscious, and I slept for about 3 or 4 hours.
You had that big of shit that you passed out. Yeah,
basically, but I just felt so good to just, like, the discomfort just disappeared, and I just felt great. And the same nurse who'd weighed my shit for whatever reason came over to me to check on me, asked me if I needed a drink and things like that. And his face went deadly serious, and he said, "You know what? If you didn't come in today, because the wait in the emergency room is so long." He said, there's a good chance that if you didn't get it seen to, you might have actually died from that.
You are that full of shit, Pete.
That was exactly what Charlotte said to me when I told her. She said, "So you were so full of shit, you nearly died."
It is medically confirmed that you are full of shit.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And it's honestly one of the most horrible experiences I've ever had. Absolutely terrifyingly horrible.
It's very entertaining. Why have I not been told this before?
I'm sure I must have told you, because this was during the break of the original run of podcasts as well. Do you remember?
I can remember you moaning about your toothache. You never told me the fact that you basically almost shit yourself to death.
Yeah, well, no, I did. I couldn't shit myself to death. That was a problem. If I could have shit myself, then I would have been happy. But it was horrible. And honestly, right after shitting out what was basically a basketball, I'm surprised that there's any slack left in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
gaping down there.
There's no, like, normal service has been resumed. There's been no interruptions to the way my sphincter is activated. This has been the most disgusting end to any podcast ever, and I'm so sorry to anybody. I didn't know how else to phrase it. I don't know. Just in case anyone was interested, everything's back to normal there.
Nobody is interested.
correct amount of elastic on my arsehole. Oh, I made myself laugh.
Are you okay, hon?
Oh, God.
Right.
This is going on the internet.
Yes, this is going on the internet.
That's so funny.
Are you okay?
I had to take 3 days off work for it. Because I lost
time off work as well.
I lost 1.5 stone. And I'm not even kidding.
You've proper lost it, haven't you?
Oh, I need to gain myself.
You back to normal now?
I think so, yeah. I've just got a text from Charlotte saying, were you actually just talking about your asshole?
Yes, he was.
I'll have to explain that when I go to bed.
I'll explain your arsehole. She doesn't want to hear about it, Pete, trust me.
No, exactly. She's heard enough.
Right, I think on that lovely thought we'll end the podcast. Well, actually, no, there is something we need to say beforehand. The reason we haven't mentioned it much during it is because we don't really want to get political. But I'm sure, we didn't actually discuss this, but I'm sure we're in agreement. We're both on the side of Ukraine and think that any country invading another country in this modern world, especially using weapons targeting civilians, is disgusting.
It is
and
disgusting.
If you are pro-Putin, we kindly ask you to fuck off and stop listening to our podcast.
If you're pro-invading a country, actually.
Yeah, but that as well. Pro anything like that. Pro war crimes.
Yeah, pro-war crimes. That's where I draw the line in my social interactions, is pro-war crimes.
Yeah. So
I consider myself to have a pretty low bar. I mean, I talk to James every week.
yes, exactly. But we won't be mentioning anything else anymore because people do need an escape, hopefully, and we try to keep politics full stop out of
plenty of places to go and argue about this on the internet.
Yes, we just most of the time politics were kept out of the podcast unless we're taking the piss, but there are certain things we need to make a small comment on, like glory to Ukraine and fuck off Russia. Or Putin, at least. That side of Russia. So, like, subscribe, follow it on Spotify, follow it on Apple, all the other fucking shit that we normally say every week. Follow on Twitter, it's there in the corner, it's been there all corner. You haven't noticed it, but it has been there. Go follow Pete on twitch.tv/PeteSmells. I don't stream anymore, so don't bother following me.
You will find him on my Twitch channel occasionally.
Yeah, normally on Wednesdays, except we're recording on Wednesday this week.
Oh yeah, do you want to stream tomorrow?
I want to play Lost Ark.
Okay, you do that then.
We'll see what depends what you come on to play with, because it's reset day tomorrow, so it's not like I need to get a load of stuff done. So I'm.
What was only going to do? We were here. It's only short.
Yeah, okay, fuck it, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yay!
So for those of you that are confused, 3 days ago we were streaming together, which is what we're discussing now. Rather than doing it after the podcast, we're going to do it live on the podcast for you to realise just how unorganised we are.
Yeah. Wait, what?
We're unorganised.
Yes, we are unorganised.
End the podcast. Say bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Words From Our Mouths. I've been Pete. I talked about my arsehole. That's been James, who normally talks about penises. This has been very weird. I'm just going to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.